Hello and welcome to the Glow Up Method. This is the place where we talk all things self-improvement, self-empowerment, personal development, all in this quest to live a life that we are individually proud of. Hello, my name is Natasha and I am so honored to be your host today. The hair is extra hairing today. I was gonna wash it, but then I was like, you know what? I actually have time on this self-care Sunday to do like some treatment things. And so I was about to just load it up with a bunch of rosemary oils and all kinds of stuff. But then I was like, I gotta film. So here we are first filming, and then I'm going to do some really nice and nurturing self-care for myself today, which includes taking care of my hair a little bit. I had a piece of hair fall out yesterday, and I had realized I haven't had a haircut in years, and the piece of hair, like the strand was like this, and up here was a split end. I'm like, getting my hair cut was like one of these things that like I love to do. I loved feeling spoiled and nurtured. And I'm sorry, there's a spider web that keeps catching my eye. And I'm like, is there a spider in it? Like, and why is there a web in my room? So I'm like, oh, okay. Anyways, but yeah, no, I really love like getting my hair cut and just like getting my scalp massaged and my hair washed. And it's been something I've definitely been neglecting. My last haircut, like in a salon, was probably in 2019. Since then, I've had Chris cut my hair. I've had my mom cut my hair. I've had my sister cut my hair. At least my sister is a hairdresser, but I had her take off like this much hair. And ever since then, my hair hasn't grown back. And so I'm like, you know what? I just really want to do some self-love. And on my agenda is to find someone to cut my hair. That's the thing is like, I'm like, who do I trust? What do I want? And I start getting so wrapped up. So I can tell you there's been about 100 times that I've looked for a hairdresser, but my hairdresser that I used to go to is no longer cutting hair here. Her business closed shortly after the pandemic. And so, like I can no longer support her. And so, yeah, that's been my on my to-do list. So that's why the hair is extra hairing today. But the color looks cool. I'm enjoying the color. I'm really appreciative. Not that there's anything wrong with going gray. And, like I say, I'm embracing it. For a 48-year-old woman, I got the grays coming in here, the grays coming in here. Believe me, this last year has gotten me a few grays. But I've also had the privilege of like having a really good year as well. Like it wasn't all stress and strife and gray hair producing. Like it's been a really good year. So, this self-care Sunday, I've been up early. Chris had spent the night last night. Yesterday, we had a really fun day. We took our youngest son and his girlfriend who's visiting from Kansas out to Monterey. It was a lot of driving. A lot of people had the same idea because it was the day after Valentine's Day and it was a beautiful day. It's a 3-day weekend. It's kind of like the trifecta of let's get out. And so there were people everywhere, which was just so beautiful to see. So we walked around, we had lunch, we spent time together in the car. Everybody's putting songs on playlists. We're asking questions, answering them, chatting, went to the ocean, found these abalone shells. Like one of them is like this big and it's like Chris dug it out for me. And so, I want to go after this. I want to clean it. I want to it's super delicate. Like it'll crack in your hands, but it's so iridescent and beautiful. And I was like, what am I going to do with this thing? So I'm going to give some pieces to my son's girlfriend. So when she goes back to Kansas, she can have a piece of this trip with her. Cause I'm like, this is extreme hoarding. What the heck am I going to do with this? But the big one, what I was thinking about doing was making it like a little jewelry holder. So I've been really good. Like I said, I have been going to stores, but I've been really conscientious about what I'm bringing in. I'm talking about all this decluttering, and it's not just to fill my life with more crapola, it's to start getting myself in a position that I am now entering into this other phase, right? Where the kids are going to be adults. Tyler will graduate from high school next year. And I know I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but this is about the time when I need to start preparing myself for the fact that this is happening. And he, unlike some of my other ones, I really do foresee, needing to flee the nest. And so I'm not sure where his journey is going to take him. And so I really want to just absorb myself in that time, but also be prepared so I'm not scared when the time comes and it's like, okay. And like I said all along, I have this feeling like they're going to all go at the same time. It's going to be like a domino effect. One's going to leave and then suddenly they're all going to leave. Now, maybe that's a little wishful thinking. Maybe that's a little bit of intuition. We shall see. You'll be along with with me on this journey to figure out when that happens. But, I appreciate that they're here. I appreciate a day like yesterday where, and I was like, you guys can walk around. You don't have to, like, they wanted to hang out with their parents, like, and they wanted to. It was like, it was pretty cool to have this double date in essence with our son. And I had a great time with Chris. We were walking around. Things are just chill. In the beginning, there was a lot of like worry and a lot of honesty and a lot of hard conversations and a lot of ignoring some hard conversations. And I feel like we're coming to this place now where it's a livable balance. There's a lot of, like, yesterday we finished watching a show called Cobra Kai that we had started watching together. I loved Cobra Kai because my uncle and my auntie, even though it's super cheesy, but my uncle and my aunt had watched it, and they had, introduced me to Karate Kid, and, it was just one of those, like, just silly shows. But, like, we binge watched the last 4 episodes or 5 episodes, whatever it was, and sat around and had cinnamon rolls and pretzel bites and cheese, and, I don't know, it just was normal. It wasn't, like, forced. It wasn't, like, worrying, what do you want to do? Like, it's just being. And I was like, is this what it's like to be in a healthy relationship? Is this what it's like? And even this morning, he was like, I have a little bit of work to do. And I was like, oh, I can go with you. But then I thought to myself, if I go with him, I can't record there. Maybe I'll just let him go and I'll stay and record. So that's what I'm doing. We have to also take my son's girlfriend to the airport today. We're planning on making a meal together. So I'm just really enjoying the togetherness, but then the comfort of saying, yeah, we can be apart. There were some parts in this earlier journey where I kind of felt this, like, of this new phase of Chris and I together. I almost felt like this codependency, almost like this need to have him by my side. Like, I couldn't function, and I was just missing him, and I was just so grateful that we were, like, spending time together, and I was hopeful for, like, this family, and I was trying to fix this little hole that was in my heart. And I really kind of went in, like, and I was trying to figure it out in a really rapid version in a time frame, because I didn't want to mess around with my kids. I didn't want to play with their toy with their emotions. My one child was already really distraught by it, the idea of us reconciling or even spending time together. And so, there were a lot of other factors, but I really needed to listen to myself first. And not everybody will understand. I haven't told many people outside of myself, my family and things like that this is what we're doing. Because I've realized when everything happened and I was, like, in crisis mode, in survival mode, I was, like, trauma dumping on anybody who would listen. The bank teller, my friends, like, was consuming me. And I was proud for the fact that I was vocalizing what my experience was, because before I would be very stoic and hold everything in, but I was talking to my mom, I was talking to my dad, I was talking to my kids sometimes, and it was just a lot of talk, and which got me to the place, like, I'm glad I did, but I also don't need to share every piece of the journey. I know some people will understand, and I know some people won't. I know some people will support us, and that will be the masses. Like, if you take my family, like, I have 4 kids, 3 of them totally are in support of whatever makes us happy, not just being together because it makes them happy. They are in support of whatever makes us happy. My daughter, she's on the fence a little bit. She's not seeing the full picture most times. She has a different perspective, right? She's been a little bit more involved in the relationship. She's a little bit more intuitive to things. She's a little bit more, has her own relationship, kind of things. Female. I know that's, like, sexist to say, and they can go either way. But even within my own family dynamic, there is a vast difference between the females and the males. Period. Bottom line. Like, and I'm just really grateful that, I have this opportunity to see life in this way. So the same thing goes. I think if I go out there and I tell anybody, oh, hey guys, we're reconciling, which we're not, we're just still taking it day by day. It's not like all of a sudden he's moved out of his apartment, he's moved in, we're full time here. Yes, there's a lot of conversations about that, and I don't feel uncomfortable about it. I feel very comfortable. I feel very hopeful. I mean, there's some parts that I enjoy about having his own place. Like, when him and I are together, it's fun to be, not have to worry about everybody else, in a sense, like hearing us, knowing, like, I don't know. There is this sense of just us when we're there. It's not like having to take on the role of everybody else. Like when I'm here, it's like, mom, oh wait, is everybody else hungry? Oh wait, is this, like what's kind of going on? So, I do like parts of it. I do like aspects of it. But then again, I do like being here with my kids and my family. So, it goes both ways. But, I would say, there's going to be 3 out of 4 people are going to be totally in support. One person's going to be like, no, he does this, you want, like they're going to have their own perspectives. And there's nothing that one person is going to say that I haven't thought of. Perhaps maybe there is, but like I've considered it all. Like, I know he can do this again. I know, like we can wind up back where we were and hating us and like it be worse than, separating now. But here we are. And I'm not going to sit there and think that if we were showing up every day as the versions of we were 6 months ago, I would not even consider it. I wouldn't want to be in that space. Like, that's not fun. That's not love. That's not healthy. That's toxic and destruction and mean. And I know my own role in that. So again, I keep saying is I keep showing up as the best partner and spouse I can. Not because of what he has done and not because of what I want him to do and not because of what I expect him to do and not because of what he hasn't done. This really is a journey about me. It's my journey. It's my journey in this particular case as a partner. What does it mean to show up as a partner? And I think for so many years, I didn't really know. I'm not going to say that this is the reason for it. I didn't have a healthy role modeling of what it was to be a partner or spouse or significant other. My parents, my friends' parents, like my aunties, uncles, grandparents, like you name it, it was not healthy. That just is the way I had saw it. And then you saw this other extreme, right? You saw these power couples on Sorry, I had an alarm that went off and knocks at my door, and you know what? Here we are, momming. But what I'm saying is, however we show up, whether it be for a parent, for a partner, whether it was modeled for us or not, a lot of it is about us. Like a lot of it, what I'm realizing is learning how to navigate on your own and do what you want to do. Show up as the partner you want to be, independent of anybody else. And here's the thing, is for so long, I thought in every relationship, except for my kids most of the time, it was conditional. I thought that there was strings attached and, it wasn't even like something I thought. Like it was just the way I thought like life was. It was just that you had to, in order to be nice, somebody else had to be nice to you. In order, to do that, like it was transactional in a sense. And it didn't have to be 1 for 1 or tit for tat. It could be over time. So this is literally like take 5. Oh my gosh. So I get going again and my alarm goes off again. So I've had knocks on the door. I've had, hello there, take 5. We are adding into the middle. Again, I have to sit here and try to remember because even today, I have to remember it takes me forever to how to merge 2. And it happens to be the one I have to post today is a twofer. And I thought I got it all done. And then I realized, oh my God, that was really short. Oh my gosh, I have to figure out how to splice the 2 together. I got to get with the tech here. But anyways, back on to what I'm saying is, what I am realizing in this part of the journey is there is so many types, because like, I feel like the first thing on any personal development journey, I will say this a million times over, is working on yourself. Is that always easy? Is it always possible? No, right? Like, what are your needs? Where are you in your career, your education, your marriage, your family, your children? Like, sometimes it's a real challenge. I admire the women and men that I see around me that are taking the time and have the ability to balance their work, life, personal development journeys. I did not know how to do that at that time. I am all in. Whatever it is I'm doing, I'm all in, and I'm trying to learn the balance. I can see even in my reconnection with Chris, I'm all in because I'm really trying to figure it out. And once I realize, yes, this is something I want, then I try to learn that little Goldilocks spot. But there is a power in working in the silence and working on yourself without anybody else. I on Valentine's Day had this conflict leading up to it because Chris worked all day and he had to work, right? Like what we have to work. It's not a national holiday. Like it's not for me something that I'm like, listen, we need to go and do this on this day. No, it's not like that for me. And so it did not upset me that he works or anything like that. But then it meant like usually we'd be like, okay, well, finally when he's available, I'm going to be available. But I really wanted to go dance with my friends and I really wanted to experience this yoga class, which ended up being very different. It was like very interesting because it was like had sound bowls and it felt like it took me on this whole like spiritual journey, if this makes sense. Like I literally felt like I was in the like 1800s at times. Like it was an interesting experience. Like the yoga was so little and the sound bowl and shavasana was so long that at first, and coming from dance, I didn't know how to like necessarily quiet my mind or get still in that. And it took me a little bit because my energy was here to like bring it down to here. But it was such a beautiful and loving gift to myself. And it's something I've always wanted to experience, and now I can say I have, and I'll probably definitely do it again. And when I came home, he was working so hard and making this homemade sushi that was so good, and we had dessert, and we hung out. Like we were tired then at the end. Like it was so perfect. But before, I would have abandoned me. I would have been like, oh, now this person's ready for me. I'm ready. And so for that day for me, it was again a celebration of love because I was able to say, I love myself enough to say, I can do what I want to do. You can do what you want to do. And then we can meet together. It's about that balance and that meeting part because I don't want to resent him and sit there and be like, oh, I'm at this dinner, but I would rather be in this other class. And I'm glad that I'm finding the words and the voice and the awareness to explore what it is I want and then communicate that. And that's the important part, first thing. And then the second part is now integrating other people into this new version of you, right? Like, and what I'm realizing is how I show up is on me 100%. Yes, other people can contribute things, but ultimately the decision is mine. Am I going to hold and punish somebody for a choice or decision or something they said? Am I going to resent them? Am I going to be angry with them? Am I going to be sad? Am I going to be happy? Am I going to be delighted? Am I going to be proud? Like whatever it is, that is my choice. And so how you show up in your relationships is on you. And I think for so many years, I felt this almost like conditions. Like, you know, if Chris is mean to me all the time and he comes home huffing, then I'm not going to be nice either. Like, why, you know, like, or I'm just going to ignore him and then that wouldn't feel right with me. And I'm like, okay, no, let me be nice because that doesn't align with me. And then something would happen and I would pull back away and be like, see, this is why I'm mean or I'm quiet and mean and not because he's mean too. And I don't like this. And instead of like expressing myself or blowing up and like, why are you always so mean to me? You know, like it just was so unhealthy for so many years. And I didn't know how to get out of this cycle. And this is what I'm learning. And this is what I'm telling Chris. And I was telling him all along, like, you show up for me independent of how I'm doing. You're wanting something first, but yet you want this relationship to work. And it was like every piece of advice I was giving to him, I wasn't listening to myself. Every piece of advice I was saying, I felt like it was still his duty to prove to me that he liked me. Like, again, I was just lost in this. And so what I've learned now is just releasing all that, releasing all the worries of judgment, releasing all the fears, releasing all the insecurities. And it doesn't mean they don't pop up. There's moments that I feel insecure. He may be quiet and I'm like, hey, you know, what's going on? Or, you know, whatever it is. That's my duty. That's my responsibility to say, hey, what are you experiencing? And to process it and then communicate it in a healthy manner. Understand what it is I need, I want. And so that has been the biggest gift, is realizing every one of my relationships is based on me. It gives me my power back. It gives me the ability to show up in the way I want to. I can be the partner I want. I can buy the stuff and not be like, well, I don't want to buy too much because I don't want him to feel guilty. I don't want to buy not enough and then him feel not loved. Forget all that. I'm just going to buy what I want to buy for him for Valentine's Day. And that's on me. And it's not a competition, and it doesn't mean I love him more or I like him more or he's good and I'm better or he's better and I'm worse. Like, it literally doesn't mean any of that. And I think I had this conception before that things needed to be fair and equal, and in order to have the privilege of me being good to you all the time, you needed to be good to me too. And I'm not saying that that isn't a boundary. I'm not saying that somebody who's going to treat me like crud and be rude and disrespectful and infringe my boundaries and disrespect me and talk poorly about me, that's not somebody I want in my life. But I can't, and Chris has been all those things, just as I've been all those things too. I cannot continue to punish this version of Chris that's showing up for the injustices that the old Chris did. And I know they're one and the same, right? Just as much as I know they're one and the same. And it doesn't mean there's going to be days or times that he doesn't make a mistake, or there's days or times that I don't make a mistake. But that's where we learn. That's where we process how it is we're supposed to be better. And I'm really just proud of us. Like, for two kids that don't know a lot going into this, who are just hanging on by the bootstraps a lot of times and have had crazy things thrown at them, like, I'm really proud of this. I'm proud of me for being able to show up as this partner, for wanting to lay in the same bed as my husband, for wanting to cuddle and snuggle, for wanting to spend time with him, for all the, I'm proud of myself for being open to this. I'm proud of myself for being honest and vulnerable. And I do believe that at anything, like, leaving is easy, right? Like, we were already halfway there. He has an apartment. Like, seriously, like, I'm paying for my own stuff here. Like, it would be easy on paper, right? Like, but putting in the work and the effort to show up different, because I'm going to do this different anyways, right? Like, I am not going to be that same Natasha in another relationship. So why not try it first with Chris? First, hopefully never with anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, why not try with what I have and see him with a different set of glasses, see myself with a different set of glasses, see this relationship and this family with a different set of glasses. I'd love to model to my kids that, you know, if something you really want, I mean, that was my whole motivation for not choosing to do either, you know, medications or surgery or some expensive diet plan. My whole motivation was to tell my kids and show my kids that if you want something bad enough, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take sacrifices. It's going to take compromises. It's going to take growth and learning, and you're going to make mistakes, but then you're also going to have amazing wins, and it's all worth it in the end. So if you know what you want, or just know what you have is what you don't want, and you want it to be different, that's the start. It doesn't mean you need to know exactly the way it is and you have this perfect relationship, you know, pinned on your vision board. No, it just means we're on the journey. Like I say all the time, you know, it's not about going to the gym, hopping on the scale and being like, why didn't I lose 100 pounds? Like, that's too hard. That's focusing on the outcome. It's about going and enjoying yourself in that moment, in that experience, and being like, I'm proud of you. Like, I may actually have gained a pound, you know, coming in today. It might be muscle mass, might be water, like whatever it is, but I still came in and I'm doing the work, and I'm doing it every day. And I know that what I do every single day builds upon myself. So the way I show up, that every night asking, you know, Chris to tell me something nice, and if I don't ask him, him telling me something nice, that every night and every day, him asking me, how was your day? It's those simple things that every day when I see him, to hug him and touch him and you know, not, I mean, could be, but like, you know what I mean? Like, just give like a touch, a nurturing, a love. And so I think that we all need that. And I think we all have this place to grow. So for this self-care Sunday, I really want to celebrate myself. I really want to celebrate myself for finding and looking for that Goldilocks spot in which I don't abandon me in order to be in a relationship. And I think for so many years, I thought in order to be a good parent, I needed to abandon me. In order to be a good spouse, I needed to abandon me. And in some of those relationships, I was willing. A good daughter, a good granddaughter, a good friend, a good sister. And in many of those relationships, I was willing to do that. And I did that until I said no more, and I overcorrected. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. Still with my kids, they're a soft spot, and I will always abandon, often working on it, abandon myself for them. But I do see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see how in these other relationships I'm cultivating, I don't have to do that anymore. And that doesn't mean they don't love me. And on the contrary, it means I'm better in the relationship because I don't resent you. I don't have all these chips on my shoulders and feel like it's always all that stuff is gone. So go out there today and really treat yourself, celebrate yourself for the wins that you're making, the progress you're making, the fact that you're here. Thank you. Thank you so much. And go out there today. Please look yourself in the mirror. Give yourself a huge smile. Give yourself a compliment. Find something. There is something. And I know there were days that I could have stood there for hours and been like, listen, I don't see a darn thing good about you right now, but you will find something. Stand there. I mean, like I say, I do this experience now where I run and I look in my mirror. It had been years since I looked at myself in the mirror, and I look at myself all the time. It's fine. I sit here talking to you the whole time, literally talking to myself. And, because it's just a camera turned around and looking at me. I don't know any better way to do it at this time. And it's a gift. It's a gift to look yourself in the eyes and say, you matter, you count, because you're the person you're with the most, and you're the person who deep down inside you need that love from, you need that pride from, you need that rallying for. So go out there, take care of yourself, and when your cup is overflowing, then I want you to go out there, give somebody else a smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. How they glow up is an image of how you're glowing up. And sometimes we need to fake it till we make it. Maybe we just don't feel it. We're struggling doing it to ourselves in the mirror. But the more you do it to other people, the more of a habit it becomes, and the easier it becomes, and the more fulfilling it is. And you really see how just the littlest words of kindness always make somebody's day. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye.